Okay, the next tool that I'm going to show you is the direct selection tool. So the direct selection tool is the white arrow. So I'll go to the tools panel and I'll click on the white arrow. Now, unlike the selection tool, the white arrow, this direct selection tool, will only adjust individual points of a shape. So for instance, if I go over the corner point of that square, you'll notice again, like the selection tool, there's a white dot that appears by the side of the selection tool. If I just move slightly off the corner, that dot goes black, right? So we want it when it's white. White means it's found a point. So I click. I now have just that point, that corner point selected, so I can click and drag and therefore only move that one point, right? If I were to click, say, on there, that line there where the point in the white arrow, beside the white arrow, is a black dot, it selects that whole line, right? So you can see that whole line is moving rather than just one individual point. So I click again in that corner, alter that point, right? If you have trouble finding a point, right, as is often the case, you can occasionally miss. If you click and drag relatively near that point, so you're dragging over it, you can therefore get the point, the anchor point, and adjust it accordingly. It's exactly the same with the other tools. I'll show you the line one. So for instance, I can click on the end of that line and stretch it out like that. Now that is somewhat different than the selection tool, where the selection tool created a whole box where you adjusted the line. However, here with the line tool, you're just moving the one anchor point in this case, right? With anything that's curved, like the ellipse here, if I click on the anchor point here, so you can see I've got it so it turns white, we get these points. So you've got the main anchor point, which is that one in the middle, and then these two off the sides will adjust the curve of the anchor point. So from this point to that one there, this and that affect this curve. So if I click and drag on that curve, you can see that I'm stretching that curve out, right? Now you can see here, this is telling it that it wants to curve up that much, and this one, the big long one that I've just created, it wants to curve out that much, and therefore as a result we end up with this shape. As I said before, I can click on an individual point and I can stretch out the whole point, or I could click on that and turn the whole point. You know, I can do all sorts of mad shapes, right, with converting these anchor points, right? So there's a lot more play within a shape that has a curve than a shape that's just a straight edge. But that basically is the direct selection tool.